you about China, because this is one of the other things that especially the Republican, even some libertarians will say is, but if we leave Afghanistan, here comes China, and that, you know, they're gonna get all these minerals and it's gonna be so great for China. And then as a part of that too, I was interested because when I saw China meet with the Taliban, it seemed like one of their major concerns wasn't even the minerals or anything like that. Their main concern was the Uyghurs who hang out in Afghanistan, and they told the Taliban that they want them to cut ties with the Uyghurs. And so
Mhm.
I'm just curious, you know, this would be, I guess, another example of the Taliban, you know, not really looking to have these overall sympathies with Muslim jihadist groups against world superpowers, and rather just, you know, to have everybody in Afghanistan minding their own business and staying the hell out of, you know, China and America's business, maybe. So I'm interested what you think.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look. Oh no. Okay, let's take the scaremongers hype at face value here. Oh no, if we leave, then China will go there. And then what? Finish the sentence. I demand it. Right? Then what? The reality is America doesn't have a single national interest in Afghanistan of any measure whatsoever for China to threaten. What difference does it make to America if China conquers the whole country? They send 500 million people to colonize the whole place. What difference does it make to us then? The answer is absolutely nothing. The same answer to what have we gotten out of 20 years of war there? Nothing. And so, you know, I saw somebody sent me a tweet this morning, a Iraq War vet, 88 pundit or whatever, saying, now the Taliban and China together are going to take over the world. Yeah. Oh, I'm so afraid. I mean, notice the people who are the biggest on the hype on this, they don't even know who's who over there at all, right? So, if anything, America is going to be allying with the Taliban against China rather than the Taliban allying with the Chinese against us. And what the Chinese are complaining about there is this group, the East Turkmenistan Islamic Movement, ETIM or ETIM, and which the Americans bombed them along with the Taliban together back in 2018. And the military called them terrorists. The military and the CIA don't always agree eye to eye on who's a terrorist, Kyle.
The U.S. had them on the terrorist list at one point. I
yeah, and
think
then
Trump took
removed
them
it.
off. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, exactly right. If that isn't tipping their hand a little bit, you know, why not just lie? It's covert action anyway, right? Why take them off the damn list? They're crazy. Anyway, so listen, I mean, this is the thing, and I just talked with Eric Margulies about this, about America supported the Pakistani ISI training Uyghurs in Afghanistan and in Kashmir, he said, in the 1990s or late 1990s and very early 2000s. He saw them in Afghanistan in the summer of 2001. And so then some of those guys were the same ones who were rounded up and tortured in Guantanamo, must be. And then some of them were let go, but according to Seymour Hersh, and there are other sources for this too, I forget them all. I need to go and line them all up in my head. But I know Hersh wrote about this, that there were something like 20,000 Uyghur fighters who went to fight on the CIA and Al-Qaeda's side in the Syrian war. And so then there's a major question of what is happened to all of these guys and where have they gone? And I can't remember, was it Peter Lee who wrote about, maybe it was Peter Lee who wrote about how they're being kept safe in Uzbekistan right now by American allies, kind of in reserve. I need to go back and get my cards straight on all of this, man.
And within the past year, I read that there were some still in Idlib, in Syria, that I guess are kind of stuck there. I'm not sure if like Turkey
they had
is
their own little
helping
town
them
for a while, right?
Yeah, I think that part of Idlib was taken back though. I think they got pushed, and they're just like And who knows, Turkey could have, I guess, helped to, move them back, because Turkey has a lot of
Right.
influence in Central Asia, and I
Right.
think with the Uyghurs. And so, it may be, some of their involvement there. And they're looking also to strike deals with the Taliban. Interesting, Scott, how, one of the big threats from the U.S. in the past couple of weeks is, if the Taliban take everything by force and don't sign a deal, then they're not going to have any international recognition and no international legitimacy. And here, the Russians are keeping their embassy open. They're fine with it. The Iranians seem fine with it. They have their long, deep ties with the Pakistanis. The Chinese seem more willing to talk to them. Our NATO allies, Turkey, are willing to talk and want to, keep security at the Kabul airport. So it doesn't seem
Yeah.
like that's going to be that big of an issue for the Taliban.
Yeah. And look, remember, we're the ones who switched sides in the war. The Russians are only finally switching sides now, as they have no choice at all. The Russians have supported our effort there this whole time. And the only reason they and the Iranians have begun talking to the Taliban is because they could see years ago now, Kyle. And we're having this conversation in 2021, and the American people are only just started paying attention again for a moment or whatever. But years ago now, it was clear that America had lost the war and the Taliban had won it. And if they're going to have relations with whoever's ruling Afghanistan, they need to get to it. And especially in the case of the Russians, they wanted to side with the Taliban as a hedge against ISIS. And their original bet, to be perfectly clear, was that America and the Afghan National Army was their first line of defense against ISIS. But the Americans weren't defeating them. And so they said, hey, Taliban, this is, again, the Taliban are conservatives, not radicals. And the Russians say, look, kill these radicals, man. Stand between us and these radicals. And so the Taliban said, sure. That was the only kernel of truth in, stupid Charlie Savage's propaganda about the Russian bounties and all of that a year ago, was that, yeah, the Russians have been paying the Taliban, not to kill Americans, you filthy liar, but just because they're trying to have an open relationship with them to protect their own interests. It's as simple as that. And so, you're right that they're fine with it and that the Americans' ostracism of it and all that isn't holding. But believe me, that's by far their second choice, to have to settle for the Taliban. That's not who they would prefer to see in power in Kabul at all, I'm almost certain.